Hi coaches, my name is Adrienne Moore. I work for the Center for Healing and Justice Through Sport. I'm here in beautiful Brighton Park in Seattle, Washington with my assistant coach Tommy to talk to you about one strategy to keep girls in and enjoying softball. The strategy I want to talk to you about today is all about competition and how we can mix up competitive opportunities to help girls feel comfortable with the competition of games. And so the first concept to understand about this is that typically boys compete to connect and girls connect in order to compete, and making sure that, again, you're mixing up these competitive opportunities during practice. And so you want to think about competition not as this all or nothing proposition, but as something that's along a sliding scale or on a spectrum, and plan your practices accordingly. First thing you can do is think about opportunities for girls to compete against themselves. So this could be, these are individual competitions. Base running's great for this. So, running bases for times to try and get their times better. Thinking about how many fair bunts they can get in a row for batting practice. I do a drill called Baker's Dozen, which is, you put a player in their position and you hit them 13 ground balls in a row, and their goal is to cleanly field and throw those 13 balls in a row without an error. The second thing you can do is think about creative ways that they can compete with one another as a team, so all together working towards the same goal. Throwing drills are great for this, cutoff drills are great for this, throwing relays are great for this. We play a game called 21, that is, you put an infield and outfield on the field, and their goal is to cleanly field 21 outs in a row, so a full game. And if an error is made, you start over at the beginning. And so their goal is to get to 21. And you can, of course, work up to that, maybe start with an inning, then do 3 innings, then do 5, then do 7. But doing that all in a row in a little bit more of a controlled environment as a game is a great way to, again, play with that dial of competition and have them compete with one another. And then the last thing to think about and get creative about is how you can build in opportunities for them to compete against one another that aren't just straight up scrimmages. Scrimmages are great, but again, if we're thinking about this dial and how we sort of play with the spectrum of competition, what are some other things that we can do to help girls practice competing against one another? The first game I play is called Grounder Knockout. So you can line fielders up on the first and the third baselines, have them face one another, and have them throw grounders back and forth to one another, and have to cleanly field those balls until there's only, the last person standing. There's also a game called Jamboree that looks a little bit like a scrimmage, but is a little bit more controlled. So instead of 2 teams, you have 3 teams. That one team hits, 2 teams are in the field. It's coach pitch, and the batting team gets points by the number of bases they hit. So a single would be 1 point, a double would be 2 points, and so on. Another thing to think about is how you're giving praise around competition. Girls want to compete. If we're not saying to take competition out of it, and we're not saying that girls don't want to be competitive, because we know they do. They want to be competitive. And so shout out competitors. When you see girls doing well during competition, make sure you're praising that. And then the last thing you can do is raise up examples of great softball competitors, either, at a pre-practice huddle up or at team time at the end of practice. Take a minute or two to show girls examples of the Rachel Garcias, of the Sis Bates, of the Jocelyn Alos and the Kat Ostermans, and the highest competitive examples out there, so they can start seeing what that competition looks like and start seeing themselves in that. So those are some strategies around competition and girls. Thank you so much for what you do. Coaches are awesome, and good luck this season.